All right, we are live. Hello. Happy Tuesday. I know that it's quite an important night for the U.S. right now. I'm hoping to kind of help take your guys' mind off of everything going on. And I'm going to do a paint pour tonight. So what is that? It's kind of exactly how it sounds. I'm literally going to pour paint all over this, and we're going to blend it all together, and it's going to come out to a really cool marbling effect. So how I'm going to do this, I've kind of done a lot of the setup beforehand, but I am going to show you a little bit just because it is important, but it's a little time consuming. So the first thing I did is I did prime the top of this desk here. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this. The reason I did is because this is not real wood. And so I did decide to prime it so that I made sure that all of my hard work actually sticks to this. So that's really important prep. The second thing is we're pouring paint and we're gonna move it with a blow dryer. So it's gonna get messy. So it's really important to set up everything. And what I've done is I've taped all the way around the bottom here with plastic wrap, and my dogs are demoing it for you, showing you exactly where they are. And then I also put it on the floor because I'm doing this on my hardwood. Now, don't fret if you do happen to get paint on your hardwood. It will come up. I have gotten paint on my hardwood before. Just make sure you're proactive about getting it off of your wood. So, with all of that, I'm going to get started. I'm going to show you how to mix everything up. Okay. So, I have the 4 colors that I'm going to do in each of these cups here. So, I'm just using plastic cups. And the colors that I decided to do is Dixie Belle's Haint, which is a really light blue. I am going to do a mixture of fluff and cotton. So fluff is our white paint that has gray undertones, and cotton is our like super stark white. I had like just a little bit left of cotton from a side table that I just posted, so it's still available if you guys are interested. But it wasn't enough to do an entire project. So I just scraped the bottom of that, and then I put a little bit of fluff in there just to kind of, because I want a lot of it to be white. The other color that I used is Manatee Gray, and this is like somewhere in between a medium and a light gray. And then the last color I'm doing is one of our Moonshine Metallic. So it's our metallic paint, and this is Gold Digger. So it's super gold, really fun, and I am excited to use it. And now that I got paint all over my hands, I need a napkin. Okay, this is probably gonna get messy, so I might as well have the entire paper towel roll over by me. Okay, so now that I've shown you the paint, I already poured them in there just to save you guys from watching me pour paint in here. But I did probably, for the white, I did probably about a quarter. And the paint I did maybe just a little under a quarter, and then the gray and the Gold Digger about an eighth of there. So that's not all we're going to use. We're going to mix it with a medium that will help control it to move around on the desktop, because chalk paint is going to dry pretty quickly, and it's pretty, it's a pretty thick substance as well. So we need to add something to it in order to help it like move around nicely while we're working with it. And you know what, I'm gonna eyeball a little bit more white in here. Just want to make sure we're gonna have enough. It's when you're doing a paint pour like this, you want to err on the side of caution with a little too much paint, because once you get going, you definitely do not want to realize that you don't have enough. And I am going to do just a little bit more of the gray as well. Just getting a little nervous I don't have enough. So it did save a little bit of time, but I am going to bit more in here. Once you start to pour it, you'll get an idea. And once you've done more of these too, I mean, it's not the end of the world if you realize you don't have enough. You can mix them up quickly. Just make sure that you get ahead of it. Okay, so the other thing, what I'm mixing this with is Floetrol. And basically, this on the bottle it says eliminates brush and roller marks, improves flow and leveling. So basically what it's going to do, it's kind of like a paint thinner, but not quite. It basically prevents the paint from drying right away. And a lot of people used to use this before chalk paint, or if you're using like a cheaper chalk paint. Dixie Belle has really awesome products and they're self-leveling, so you don't really need it on a day-to-day basis when you're using Dixie Belle, but this will help it prevent from drying, and people used to use this to like eliminate brush strokes when they're painting. So basically I'm going to have about a 50-50 ratio. I'm going to eyeball it. There, you don't have to be exactly precise, but I am going to put about half of the amount of paint to Floetrol, and I'm just going to mix it up super good. You want to make sure that it's really well incorporated. And if you're local, you can find this actually at the True Value over in Salem. So you don't have to, if you're not like closer to the Kenosha area, you don't have to go all the way to like Lowe's or Menards or anything. Like, you can find it pretty local. It's not like a crazy, weird thing that only like a big box store will have. Your local place will have it as well. And just keep in mind too that this is it's kind of a milky white substance, Floetrol. So it is going to lighten up your colors a little bit. So just keep that in mind. If you're using a darker color, you just want to keep in mind that it is going to lighten it up a little bit. And that's okay, but if you want to mix it with a little darker color in there just to prevent that from changing the colors that you have, just keep that in mind. Okay, so I think we have enough, and we have it all well mixed. So I'm going to start off with my white, and I'm not going to use it all because I do want to keep a little bit for the end, because as we start to blow dry everything, things are going to start to shift around, and you're going to have some problem areas that don't want to move around on the desktop. So you want to have the ability to kind of pour a little extra where it's being a little bit stubborn and not moving around. And so I'm going to start with my white because I want the white to be the predominant color. And oh my gosh, I'm putting these on the floor. I really hope I don't knock them over. Maybe we'll have a paint pour on my hardwood floor. But, okay, and then I do have this. This is also, again, going to be towards the end. If we have any stubborn areas, it pays to use the mister a little bit to kind of help encourage the paint to move around, because you're going to have those few stubborn spots that just don't want to move. Okay, so this is just, and you're going to want to just do this randomly. There's really no rhyme or reason on how you pour it. It's going to turn out differently every time, which is kind of the cool part about this, is that you can just do anything. Okay. So I have still a decent amount left. Well, probably, okay, I've got a little bit left. I'm going to leave it. And my husband is, I think, trying to see if I'm cueing him to help. I asked him to help show everything move around, but I'm not quite there. As I usually do, I talked a little bit too much, so the time frame I gave you was not right. Okay. So I've got a little bit left of the blue. And now I'm going to add the gray. And again, I'm just kind of randomly putting this. Okay, now I'm out of gray, so I don't have enough to add later if I need that. Just keep that in mind. Okay, and now the gray, the gold. I'm really excited to kind of add this gold in here. I think it's gonna look really cool. Okay, so if you are watching at home, this would be the time to probably turn down your sound because I'm going to start to blow dry and I'm going to start to move everything around. So, Poppy, don't knock those over, Pop. Okay. So I'm going to start in the middle and kind of move out. If you need a little assistance in it moving, you can tip it if it's not too heavy. And this is a pretty light piece. I'm going to add a little bit more. Colors start to move a little bit. So I'm just going to start to tip it a little bit more because this is another method that helps move it along. I think I should have added just a hair more Floetrol and a hair more paint, and I think we would have been in better business. But this is a good method too. Just want to make sure that I'm staying within my paint lines. Okay, so I'm just going to mix up just a little bit more of paint. Just to make sure that I'm getting every area. So I think I could have been a little bit better about getting these sides here. Because the paint does not want to move over there. But that's okay. And again, this is a fun thing to play around with. You're going to get a different result every time. Just going to mix this up a little bit. Just going to get a little more white in here. So I'm going to paint. I haven't decided yet. I think I might do the body white. Maybe I might do gray. We'll see. You guys have an opinion, let me know. I'm pretty close to done. What I'm going to do, just so that you guys don't have to watch me blow dry for the next 5 or so minutes, I'm going to hop back on and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done, okay?